Andres from AA Sports here with another video after attending the Mexico National Team game against Honduras in Levi Stadium. The Mexico National Team played their semifinal game against Honduras and won 1-0, 1-0 with a goal from Raúl Jiménez. And while it was not a dominant win where Mexico scored 4 goals like they did the last time they played against Honduras, it was still a very exciting game. It was a very physical game with 2 fights and 9 yellow cards between both teams in this game. Wow. Honduras played very physical football that looked like hockey on grass. And while the scoreboard showed that Mexico only won 1-0, Mexico was visibly the better team in this game. The defense for Mexico was once again excellent. Gilberto Mora had a great game with the assist on that Raúl Jiménez goal. And Raúl with the goal which made the fans go crazy. Mexico was able to match their physicality and eventually beat Honduras and their defensive strategy and get a goal in the second half to win the game and advance to the Gold Cup final. I was at the game at Levi Stadium. It was a great game and the fans were great. It was a really special night with my father, my grandfather, and myself. We got to take photos with the actual Gold Cup trophy, and I have plenty of videos to share with you guys. It was a night I will forever remember without a doubt. Final score, 1-0, with Mexico winning and advancing to the final. Here are the grades for Mexico in this game. Goalkeeper, A. Luis Angel Malagon was the starting goalkeeper for Mexico, and he only needed to make 1 save and a couple of interventions in this game. He really did not have to do much in this game, but overall it was another clean game without any mistakes for Malagon. Guillermo Ochoa was involved in an early fight on the sidelines after one of the Honduran players, Romel Kyoto, shoved him after Memo tried to pick up the ball and give it to him when it went out of bounds. Kyoto shoved Memo back into the bench. This caused the benches to clear and a pushing and shoving match ensued. And both Kyoto and Memo were given yellow cards. For Kyoto, well, he was lucky he wasn't given a red card there. It was completely unnecessary for him to do that. But for Memo, he was basically shoved by Kyoto and given a yellow card for trying to be nice. Yeah, weird officiating by the referee for giving Ochoa a card there. But fortunately, Malagon, as the starter, was not involved in any trouble in this game. Center backs, A. Cesar Montes and Johan Vasquez were the starting center backs for Mexico in the 4-3-3 starting formation, and both played very well and made a total of over 25 clearances. Johan also had 2 notable moments where he blocked shots by Honduras. While it is true Honduras was not strong or creative in this game offensively, anytime Honduras would enter the attacking third with the ball, the center backs handled it well and were able to clear the ball out of danger. Fullbacks. A. Julian Araujo was the starting right back and played the full game, and with Gallardo out due to yellow card accumulation, Mateo Chavez was the starting left back in the game. Once again, Julian Araujo played well. He contributed to a majority of the interceptions defensively for Mexico and had a lot of good takeaways in the game. When Mexico began to make substitutions, Aguirre again didn't think about making a substitution at the right back position. Araujo had a performance that really should make Aguirre forget about calling up Jorge Sanchez going forward. The only other right back who should be called up alongside Araujo at this point is Rodrigo Huescas. And with how Araujo has performed so far, I mean, he might be the front runner to be the starter in 2026. We'll see. As for Mateo Chavez, in his 71 minutes of play, he again showed how and why he pretty much played his way off Chivas and into the Eredivisie, into European football, as he had a great performance. He again had 3 really good tackles won and was able to match the physicality Honduras and their wingers brought in this game. He did eventually get a yellow card for 1 hard foul and was substituted off shortly after receiving that yellow card. But overall, I thought he did well and he held his own in this very physical game. Chiquete Orozco came in to replace Mateo Chavez in the left back position, and he did his best, but it was definitely clear that he wasn't playing in his normal position. He also received a yellow card for a hard foul in his 19 minutes of play. Midfielders, A-. Edson Alvarez, Marcel Ruiz, and 16-year-old Gilberto Mora were the starting midfielders for Mexico. Edson had a good game with some good takeaways and was again active offensively on set plays. Unfortunately, he got unlucky. Just a few minutes after Raul's goal, everyone thought Edson had another goal off a set play, but after a VAR review, it was ruled offside. Nevertheless, a solid game from Edson. Marcel Ruiz didn't have as good of a game as he did versus Saudi Arabia. He definitely struggled in the first half in terms of adjusting and settling into the game with how physically Honduras played. In the second half, he did play better. At one point in the game, he also had a clear chance on goal, but came up short again from scoring. Of the starting midfielders for Mexico, it was Gilberto Mora who was the best midfielder in the game. Mora was credited with the great assist on that goal scored by Raul Jimenez, and he ended up being the most fouled Mexico player on the field because Honduras players eventually just ended up trying to foul him as he checked all the boxes in an excellent performance. Gilberto Mora had an assist, 2 quality chances created, 7 or 8 duels won, and 1 or 2 moments where he again did something incredible to keep ball possession. He had a great performance, and in just 2 games for Mexico, 4 if you count the non-official hybrid games in January, I mean, he has done more than Tronco Rodriguez has ever done in his entire time with the national team. In just these 2 games alone, Gilberto Mora has done more. It's incredible, and this 16-year-old prospect really is incredible to watch, exciting to watch as a player. Orbelin Pineda, he eventually came in as a substitute in the final minutes and went through the motions just to close out the game as Mexico just tried to keep ball possession to win. Eric Lira also entered the game as a substitute and did end up getting a yellow card for being involved in another shoving match, another fight, as emotions ran high in the last minutes of the game. Overall, though, the midfield and especially Mora held up well in a very physical game. Offensive front, A-. Once again, Alexis Vega and Piojo Alvarado were the starting wingers, with Raul as the starting forward. Vega did have 1 wild shot that went wide and into the stands in the final 10 minutes of the game, but outside of that, really, he wasn't able to create or do much of anything in the game. I'll say the same thing for Piojo Alvarado. He did have 4 shots in the game, but nothing close to a goal. And outside of these moments, the wingers were really non-existent in the game. Granted, I do think some of this was also due to Honduras' very physical and defensive style of play in this game, but still not a great look for the wingers. Cesar Huerta came in as a substitute in the second half, and Chino did look a little bit better in comparison, but with how defensive Honduras was in the game and Mexico not creating as much at that point, it didn't make much of a difference if Chino Huerta came in as a substitute. Again, the wingers, it was just a tough game for them. As for the striker position, Raul Jimenez was the starting striker and had a great game, scoring the game-winning goal for Mexico and his second of the tournament. Raul was provided with an assist from Gilberto Mora, and Raul put a great finishing shot on the ball for the goal that ended up winning the game for Mexico. Just wow, Raul is in incredible form right now. Santi Jimenez eventually came in as a substitute, and you can see he wanted to score a second goal. He wanted to contribute and had a couple smaller chances where he tried to make a run with the ball, but the Honduras defense held strong and did not concede another goal, while the rest of the Mexico players really just fell back and tried to hold possession and run out the clock. Overall, though, a better performance from the offensive front, and they are starting to slowly score more in the run of play, which is a good improvement from the offense. Head coach, A-. I thought Javier Aguirre did a pretty good job as the head coach in this game. I was, for the most part, quite happy with the substitutions he made. I think they were the correct decision. They were the correct decisions given how the game unfolded. He also kept a very similar starting 11, this time including Cesar Montes as the center back and Edson back in the midfield. I think Aguirre also did a good job, preparing the team for this tough game and the physical style of play Honduras brought in this game. During warm-ups, Aguirre had the players do a practice drill where the players would go shoulder to shoulder and try to hold their ground against each other. This was a drill he made them do clearly to prepare them for this very tough physical game. And it worked out well as Mexico did hold their own in this tough football match that felt like watching hockey on grass. It was that physical. Aguirre's style of play might not be pretty, it might not be dominating, but it is getting the results the team wants, and with it, they are in the Gold Cup final. Fan base, A. It was a majority Mexican crowd at Levi Stadium, which was not much of a surprise. There were also some Honduras fans who also attended the game. My respects to them. They were great to talk to after the game. The beer throwing at the end when all the Mexico fans celebrated the win was not ideal. But overall, the fan experience was amazing. Everyone was very friendly, and it made the game that much better. I also want to thank my father and my grandfather for being willing to go as well and make this fun day at the stadium happen. We all had a great time, and these are photos, videos, and memories we will forever cherish. Final score, Mexico beats Honduras 1-0 in the Gold Cup semifinals. And for an overall team grade, I'm giving the team an A-. It wasn't a dominating performance. Nevertheless, there were a lot of positives from the game. The defense played well. Araujo had a performance that should make Aguirre forget about Jorge Sanchez. And Mateo Chavez looked very promising and was playing well. Mora made an instant impact, and Raul Jimenez scored and showed why he is personally my favorite player. And Mexico is slowly looking better in the run of play offensively. With this win, Mexico advances to the final of the Gold Cup, where they will play the United States. And should they win the Gold Cup final, they will win their 10th Gold Cup championship. We'll see what happens on Sunday. Andres from AA Sports. Leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys thought about the game in the comments. Stay tuned in for more Mexican football content and videos from the stadium that I will post on my channel. With that, thanks for watching and listening. Viva Mexico.